All right, ready for a deep dive. Today we're tackling something you might think is pretty basic, Eye Care Week. But get this, turns out this whole week dedicated to caring. Way more than just, baking cookies for your neighbor. It's surprisingly deep.
It is. Eye Care Week, it runs from February 7th to the 13th, and it's really about how caring connects to, like, everything. Our own well-being, our communities, even businesses are in the mix.
Okay, see, that's what I thought was so interesting. When I first saw the Eye Care Week website, I was like, okay, Global Kindness Initiative, got it. But then I saw the part about self-care, and I realized this is way more than just, like, random acts of niceness.
Right. And that's where it gets really cool. See, a lot of people think self-care is selfish, but the source material actually talks about this study, found that employees who did regular self-care were actually 15% more productive. Plus, they had more empathy. So taking care of ourselves actually helps us care for other people better.
Makes sense. It's like that put your own oxygen mask on first idea
Oh.
on airplanes.
Yeah.
Can't help anyone else if you're, like, gasping for air. But they take it even further with this whole adapting self-care routines thing. What you need in summer is different from winter, right?
Exactly. It's about paying attention to what you need, which can change constantly. The source material, it uses the example of how in summer, self-care might be being social, going outside. But in the winter, maybe it's more about rest, cozy nights.
Practical, right. So how can people listening actually use this whole seasonal self-care thing? Any advice?
Totally. Think about it like this. You change your clothes with the seasons, right? Light clothes to sweaters. Well, you might need to adjust your self-care the same way. Maybe when it's darker in winter, instead of crazy workouts, you do some gentle yoga or meditate instead. It's about listening to your body and adjusting your routine as you go.
I love that. But we've talked a lot about self-care. But the website also talks about caring for others, and not just friends and family. They even have a whole section on corporate involvement. I have to admit, I was confused by that at first.
Yeah, it seems strange, right? But the source material actually says that when companies incorporate caring into their culture, it's beneficial for everyone. It's not even just about employees being happier. Those studies show caring companies have less people quitting it can actually help them make more money.
Yeah, the triple bottom line idea, I'd never heard that before. Sounds like some new dance move, but it's way more interesting.
It is. So the triple bottom line is this business model where it's not just about profit. It's people, planet, and e-profit. A company's success isn't just money, it's how they treat people, the environment, the whole picture.
So less about competition, more about caring. That's a pretty different way of thinking about business today.
It is a different way of thinking, for sure. Like Patagonia, they're a good example of the triple bottom line. Super into environmental stuff, fair labor practices. They even want people to fix their old clothes instead of buying new ones. And they're still really successful.
That's so cool. Shows that caring and making money don't have to be opposites. But this whole idea of caring in business,
Yeah.
it makes you realize how connected everything is, right?
Totally. And speaking of connections, the source material talks about how caring includes people we've lost too, like those I care you were here and I care you are here sections. Those were interesting.
Right. At first I was confused, like what does remembering someone have to do with Eye Care Week? But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense.
It's because caring isn't limited to like the present moment. It's about honoring people's memories, showing gratitude for those who've touched our lives, whether they're here or not, remembering them, telling their stories. That's a way of caring too.
Makes you think of that quote, we die twice. Once when we stop breathing, and again when our name is spoken for the last time.
Yeah.
Keeping those memories alive, that shows you care.
Exactly. And the source material even says that when we share stories about loved ones, the happy and the sad ones, it can actually help us heal and connect. Creates a space for empathy.
That's true. We think of caring as these big actions, but it could be simple things too. Listening, comforting someone, sharing a story that keeps someone's memory alive. Little acts of kindness can make a big difference.
Yes. And it brings us back to how caring isn't just for others, it's for us too. Like that self-care we talked about. Prioritizing ourselves isn't selfish, it's actually caring for ourselves and the people around us.
Right, because if we're exhausted and burnt out, we can't be there for anyone. Self-care is like the foundation for caring for others.
Exactly. Just like that oxygen mask thing again. Take care of our own needs first, then we can support others.
It's like a ripple effect. We care for ourselves, that creates good vibes that go out and affect our relationships, communities, the world.
Love that. And speaking of connections, I was surprised to see the Eye Care Week website had a section on the environment. Like, at first I was like, wait, how does that fit in?
Me too. But then when I read more, It made sense. It's like expanding what we think of as caring to include the planet.
Right. Recognizing that our actions have consequences, not just for us, but for future generations, for the planet. Like even choosing to bike instead of drive, that's not just about your carbon footprint. It's about the air quality in your community, the planet's future. It all connects, and our choices can make a difference.
Totally. Even something small, like using a reusable water bottle, that's caring for the planet.
Right. Absolutely. Little everyday choices multiplied by a lot of people, it adds up. And, the source material had this interesting point. Caring for the environment isn't just about giving stuff up, it's also about finding joy and connection with nature.
Oh, I like that. Tell me more.
Well, think about it. When we're in nature, hiking, gardening, even just walking in the park, it reduces stress, makes us happier, and helps us feel connected to something bigger than ourselves.
It's true. Even just stepping outside for a minute, breathing in fresh air, it makes a difference.
Like a mini vacation. And the best part, it's self-caring indeed. It benefits the planet. When we appreciate nature, we're more likely to protect it.
Such a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
So we've gone from self-care to taking care of loved ones, from businesses being responsible to environmentalism, and it all comes back to this one idea: caring. It's like I Could Care Week. It's not what you expect, You think it's just about being nice, but it becomes this huge thing.
Yeah, it really does.
So much bigger than you think at first. It connects to pretty much every part of life.
It does. Caring, it's not just something you do. It's like a way of living.
Yeah.
How we see our relationships, our work, how we affect the world.
Exactly. We've talked about these big ideas, but I'm curious, for someone listening who's like, okay, I want to do this, but where do I start? What's one small thing they could do to bring more caring into their life right now?
One thing that's really powerful is just listening, like really listening. We're always waiting to talk or checking our phones, but just giving someone your full attention, that means a lot. It's like saying, I care about you, I see you.
That's so true. I know I catch myself getting distracted in conversations sometimes. It's easy to do. So if someone wants to be more caring but doesn't know where to start, mindful listening, that's a good takeaway.
Totally. Start small, make it a habit, and it'll grow from there. There's this quote by the Dalai Lama that always gets me. Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. And I Care Week, it reminds us of that.
It does. It's like a call to action, but also an invitation to connect with people, to be present, to make things a little better, one caring act at a time.
I love that.
Well, everyone, that's our deep dive into I Care Week. Turns out it's way deeper than we thought, right?
Way deeper.
We went from self-care tips to businesses being compassionate, from remembering loved ones to literally caring for the environment. So much packed into this one idea.
It really shows you how important caring is, don't you think? To being human, I mean.
Absolutely. And on that note, we want to hear from you. How are you going to embrace I Care Week? Not just this week, but all year round. Tell us your thoughts, share your stories, big or small, with us online. Because even the smallest act of caring can have a ripple effect, It can make a difference. That's it for today's deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay caring.